Coming up on the show, Sean Maloney joins us from across the ditch as Les Bleus earn a famous victory. Have some tissues near as we peel back the layers inside the Fijian camp. And although one door closes with the Pacifica Series, another opens with the Farah Palmer Cup. Kia ora and welcome into the Sky Rugby Club, and we've got a busy show ahead as the Pacifica Series wraps up. And joining the team tonight we have Joey Wheeler, of course, Niall Williams, welcome to the show, and James Parsons. It's great to have you guys here. Now Niall, it's sorry to hear about the injury and you would be going to Tokyo, but I've seen you spending a couple of days in Queenstown. That must be nice.
Yeah, it was quite special down there. It was my first time heading down there. I was lucky enough, a mate took me down there just to kind of cheer me up, but I think I'm a bit of a wine connoisseur now, so yeah.
Taylor, welcome to the Rugby Club too. Welcome to you.
Yes, thank you.
Also, I'll just go back to the injury, Niall. Obviously a neck injury. How are you tracking with your rehab, and can we expect to see you back on the field anytime soon?
Yeah, I guess I'm a lot better than I was originally when it happened. Been a bit of a roller coaster of emotion, as you can imagine, but on the rehab front, I'm actually doing quite a bit more than they thought I would be able to, so that's positive signs for a rescan coming up, which we're all crossing our fingers.
Awesome, mate. Great to hear.
Well, it's great to hear the recovery is going super well. Now, we'll get to the All Blacks very, very soon, but at the moment, France are singing, and it's the end of a 31-year drought of defeating the Aussies at home and home soil. So we have gone across the ditch to talk to Sean Maloney. And hi, Sean, it's great to have you here with us. Now, those are two incredibly tight games that could have swung either way, but what were your thoughts on the game?
Oh, Tay, it's amazing, isn't it? We've had those two matches now, and they can't be split. They've got the same amount of aggregate points. The other night, I just had that feeling calling that game down at Amy Park that something was going to go wrong late. So Noah hits the go-ahead penalty goal, and then Tony Latupo's in the background sort of dancing around. I was like, no, don't do it, Tongan Thor. And then sure enough, that huge scrum late from Les Bleus secured that match-winning penalty goal for Melvin Jaminet. You like my pronunciations there, Joey?
Beautiful, mate. Beautiful as always, bud. Beautiful as always. I'd like to know, though, what your thoughts are on Lola Sear's performance. Inspired performance these first two tests from him. I think he's grown an arm and a leg. Is he going to put pressure on now on James O'Connor for that starting 10 jersey?
Yeah, that's a good question, Joey. That was the full chat around the post-game the other night as to whether Jock would come back in. O'Connor is still injured, still trying to get over that groin issue. And as you say, Noah's been really good in there. He's benefited from having Matty To'omua in there at 12. Matty moves out this weekend and Hana Paisami slips in at 12. So that's going to force him to talk a whole lot more. Hopefully they can get it done. And then, of course, there's that switch up at 9 as well with Jakey Gordon bouncing out and Tate McDermott going in. Take the snake.
Sean, Chipper here, mate. Hey, obviously the Aussies are dominating the attack stats. They've only kicked 15 times and probably had a few errors in their backfield. Do you think they've got their balance of attack right? Because it's probably not leading to points.
JP, that's probably the smartest question you've asked all year. Answer, no, I don't think they got the balance right. There were a number of times the other night where I was thinking, why not just run it in behind? That line speed from Les Bleus was unbelievable, and they didn't really utilise too much pick and go either. You would have noticed through that match that they committed no one to the breakdown for large parts. The French and then Australia tried to go wide. They didn't mix things up. So hopefully, having had learnt the hard way on Tuesday night, they can tweak that for Suncorp on Saturday.
Hey Sean, Niall here. I've got a really serious question for you. It's school holidays at the moment and I need a bit of pocket money for my kids. If I've got to put a bet on, which way am I going?
Great question. Great question.
I reckon just take that money straight back to Queenstown and I'll come with you.
It's all gone, that's the problem, mate.
No, I tell you what, let's go Australia to win by 10 on Saturday night. I think Dave Rennie's made some really good changes. I just don't know how this French team can keep getting it done. They've been against the odds from the outset, and I think finally at some stage the Aussies surely can crack them. And as we all know, Suncorp, Australia never loses at Suncorp.
Well, thanks, Sean, for the insight. All the best. We're looking forward to seeing who finishes up on top. Now back in New Zealand.
Could go Fiji this weekend.
Oh, he's trying to get in there on the win. Well, back here in New Zealand, we have the All Blacks taking on Fiji, and although they've versed each other before, it is the first time in history that it's back-to-back, Joey.
It is, and I'm really excited about this one because I think the way that the Fijians brought it to that fight and down in Dunedin, I think they surprised all the punters here in New Zealand. So I'm expecting the same from them this weekend. I'm enjoying that the rotation from the All Blacks and the side that they've put out this weekend. I'm interested to see how a couple of guys coming back from injury go. So Ardie Savea obviously playing another massive milestone game. He's playing his 50th cap for the All Blacks. I like the mix of this loose forward trio, him, Akira Ioane and Luke Jacobson. I'm interested to see how those two go. And in the midfield, Anton Leonard-Brown also bringing up his 50th cap alongside Davey Havili. I'm rapt to see that they're giving him another shot because I thought he was super impressive being back in that black jersey after 4 years absence. In the reserves, obviously Bodie Barrett drops back into the reserves. Maybe a surprise in some people's eyes. Ethan de Groot earns another chance off the bench when he impressed in his debut last week. But I want to touch on Beauden Barrett. Now, this guy, there's so much debate. Over the last 3 tests, we've seen 3 different combinations of 10s and 15s. Everyone's got their opinion. In the first test, we saw Richie Mo'unga and Damien McKenzie. Second test, we saw the Barrett brothers, Beauden at 10, Geordie at 15. Now they're going back to Richie and Damien. I'm interested, your thoughts, please, Niall, and your favourite combination. Is it Bodie at 10 or Richie at 10 for you? What do you like?
Personally, I like Richie. I think Richie's an amazing ball player. He just has so much time and space, and his passing accuracy is just second to none. Yeah, at 15, I think I'm going to have to be a little bit different and go with Bodie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What reasons?
I just think he's a pocket rocket and he can just, like, produce magic off the cusp. And when you need that little bit of injection of energy and get up boys and a little bit of probably individual flair, I think he can produce that.
What about you, Jip?
Oh, look, first off, I'd probably touch on Damien McKenzie at fullback. I think Geordie Barrett and he have had 10 out of 10 seasons. What probably differentiates him at the moment is his ability to step up as first receiver to play that dual access role, and his game management and his, I suppose, decision-making when to do his classic attacking Damien McKenzie style, but also his ability to kick into the backfield. And then I think Ian Foster probably hit it on the head with the first 5s, is Richie's had big game minutes in Super Rugby this year, and he's probably just ahead in that at the moment. And Bodie, coming from top league, probably hasn't had the same run-in of intensity, and he's just finding his intensity, and he'll build that as it goes along.
I mean, for a front row, it's brilliant analysis.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Of the first 5 and the fullback, mate. But I'm going to go to your core role, which is the type 5. 2 guys that we love to talk about up front. That's where it's always won. The All Blacks, not great through the middle of the field. And last week, 2 blokes that are going to be really important to that is Scott Barrett and Sam Whitelock this week. They've changed up that locking combination. Do you like that combination against this Fijian side? Oh,
absolutely. You know, they've played a lot of games together for the Crusaders, and they've done the business in the black jersey. More importantly, I think, is we've probably been detracted by a lot of success in that first 40 by the Fijians at the breakdown. Yeah. But in that second 40, there was a lot of dominance by the forward pack by going to the maul and setting a standard. So I don't think it was all doom and gloom last week, and I think the adjustments that these boys will bring will only add to that and bring a higher level of expectation and standards. So I think it's an exciting adjustment.
One thing they did nail was their maul last week. They did a great job of that. Embarrassment of riches we do have in the loose forward trio, Niall. And one guy, obviously we alluded to him in the team list, that's Ardie Savea, coming back from a reasonably serious knee injury. I mean, is he the guy for us going forward that's going to wear this 7 jersey going into the Rugby Championship, you think? Or do you think Dalton Papali'i or even an Ethan Blackadder deserve another crack?
I guess 50 test caps speaks for itself. I absolutely love Adi. I think he's a full package type player. He has amazing attack. You know, I love seeing him pump his legs, breaking those tackles, bit of flair thrown on the end of it. And he's just an absolute beast over the ball. Like, he guaranteed turnover in the game. So for me, Adi's the man. And I honestly, I love Dalton even too, the great up-and-coming players. But I just think Adi's really earned his spot in this, and he's going to have a big 50th.
Brilliant competition, gets the best out of everyone, Taylor.
Well, another player that's back in the mix, and he'll be celebrating his 50th cap for the All Blacks, is Anton Leonard-Brown. Thanks, Anton, for joining with us. And I'm sure you have itchy feet to get out there, but how excited are you to get back into that black jersey?
Yeah, it's always special, I guess, being named and putting on the black jersey. It's always a privilege and honour. And I guess it's never a given, so I feel incredibly lucky to be back out there again, and to play my 50th game at home is pretty special as well.
G'day, Anton, Jipper here, mate. Just seeing what you made of the Fijian midfield last week.
The Fijian boys, yeah, the midfield, especially Botia, the big boys, they can play. Obviously play very good footy, they're physical, and it's a great challenge for us. I mean, you know, as a midfield unit, we want to be going up against, you know, the best midfield other units we can, if you put it in that way, and challenge ourselves. So to be going up against such quality midfield is a good thing for us.
All right, mate, well, give us the good oil. What sort of impact are you going to make in the midfield yourself?
I just want to go up there and express myself, play footy. I haven't played for about 4 weeks now, so I just want to keep things simple. Do the basics well, and just trust myself. I want to enjoy my 50th game and being back out there.
Hey Anton, Niall here. You're playing in the midfield this week with David. How's your combination coming along?
Yeah, I'm really excited to play with Davey. I think he's an incredible player, and he's been very unlucky not to be a part of this environment for a long time, in my opinion. He's obviously quality at a lot of positions. He's a world-class fullback, and he's now a very, very good 12. So I'm looking forward to playing with him and seeing what we can do. He's hugely talented, and he's got a wide range of skill sets. And as a centre, you want to be playing outside of that. So I'm really, really excited.
Oh, Anton, great to see you've got those fizz levels in check ahead of your 50th this weekend, mate. Make sure you keep that tempered till the weekend, bud. Obviously, the physical edge, team was lacking in that area last week. Have you guys addressed that in the squad this week, and how are you going to remedy that on Saturday night?
Yeah, we've addressed it, but I think it's going to be there. Last week's lesson wasn't necessarily us being bad at the breakdown. It was probably more understanding that every team wants to beat us, and every team's going to get up for us because we're the All Blacks and that's our reality. So I'm sure there's going to be a mindset shift there. You know, we can be physical when we want to, and we've got to do that every week to get to where we want to go.
Well, cheers, Anton, and good luck this weekend. We'll be watching with all eyes on you. But Joey, is this the strongest combination in the midfield?
Oh, good question. I like Davey Havili at 12. I think Anton Leonard-Brown will be interesting to see how he goes post-surgery. That's going to be a huge test for him. But, yeah, I do like this combination. I think Anton's obviously tried and tested in that 13 jersey. I'm sure Jibber has a varying opinion because his Blues man wore the 13 jersey. But I like it. I'm interested to see how they go. I think they need to persevere with one combination going into the Bledisloe Cup. So I'm keen to see how they go.
Well, they're about to go test it out, and they'll test it against this Fiji side. Now, the Fijians, they played an outstanding game despite the score last week against the All Blacks, and especially during the circumstances that is happening over in Fiji at the moment. So we went and caught up with some of the players ahead of the second test.
I guess most people don't see the sacrifice these boys do for their family and friends. You know,
In Fiji, 6 more people have died and there's been 721 new cases of COVID in the past 24 hours.
Just a lot of our people are struggling at this time. A lot of people are going hungry. People are losing their jobs.
You must be vaccinated to continue working. No jabs, no job.
Per capita, I think they're probably the worst in the world, I think, at the moment. And, you know, it's sad to see what's going on over there. And, you know, it breaks my heart because I've got family there at the moment. And a lot of these boys' families are over there. Obviously, we're all here.
Family is probably the most important. Apart from us Fijians, our faith, you know, comes first, and family is up there as well.
The villagers back home, despite what they go through, they continue to stick together, and the solidarity is very evident within that. And I think the foundation of that is just purely love.
I think it's not until you have your own little family, you put a lot of things in perspective. Got a little boy and my wife, and I get worked up over this, but like, just I think as men, we're proud family men, we're proud men, and you know, I think to be away from my son who's just growing rapidly, you know, I just, yeah, it's tough.
We have boys playing in France and in the UK who haven't seen their family members for about a year or two now. And that could potentially grow longer because of borders and so what closing.
The boys could have easily just put their hands up and been like, listen, I want to go home to my family. We've got boys in our team that have kids over there that haven't seen them in years, and I think that sort of kind of breaks me because people don't understand the sacrifices that, you know, my teammates here had to make to be here. Sorry.
To leave them, especially young families, just to come in and do this, for being in isolation, and to come out and still give their 110% every day, and I guess, you know, family back home with what's happening, you know.
The game last week, when we played the All Blacks, I thought one of our star players, Johnny Dyer, he's my cousin, and to hear that his parents had to, I think, climb up a mountain just to get internet reception, you know, to watch his boys play, you know, that's the little stuff that you know, that you don't know, you don't hear about, you know, and goes back to why we do what we do, you know. We do it because we want to make our families proud. I think after last week, a lot more Fijians are going to probably tune in to watch, and, you know, that's so good because, you know, if we can put a smile on their face and give them hope, I guess, through what the stuff they're going through at the moment, then, you know, we're doing our job.
Isambul Manaka na Wakanda Maiviti. We torongo ni nakongo mo fa nakatene we keminito doko na support ni sa suletu mai we tukuna talangayan ni na dorbo sa babaro binaka na polo na sige binaka na baro binakongo ki mam sa ni binaka na dorbo ni kalonga tiko binaka.
Oh, just on behalf of everyone here at Sky, we want to send our prayers and our thoughts to all those Fijian players and their families back home in Fiji. I know such a tough time, and sacrificing all that you're doing to be away from your families, to be here to play a game of rugby, which seems so insignificant with everything going on at home. It's amazing. It breaks my heart to see that story. But Chip, mentally, this must be so tough for this group of men, being away from their families and not being able to help for so long.
Yeah, well, you know, we've been in a number of teams, and you try to create something that you believe in and that galvanises you as a group. And it's not that it's fake, but it's not as real as that. And they're united together for a purpose that's greater than themselves. And I think that was so evident the way they played last week, and you could see that with the way they spoke just then, those three men, and no doubt that's filtered through that team. So I think we can expect another fierce battle on our hands this weekend.
Yeah, those guys should be really, really proud. But on to the game this weekend. Really excited to see this Fijian team go to battle and obviously test this All Black side like we saw them do for 60, 70 minutes of that game last week down in Dunedin. And one guy, unfortunately, that's not going to be there is their fearless leader, Levani Botia. Chip, for me, this guy, their captain, just leads by example. He does everything right. And he is a human Boomfar real, right? He is just a machine.
Mate, the nickname says it all, the Demolition Man. He's quite unique for La Rochelle. He plays in multiple positions, winger, flanker, so he can pop up anywhere. And I think that shows in the way he's so good over the ball. Yep. He got a number of turnovers. He's direct in his carry nature, and we saw how aggressive he was in defence. Well, Damien did firsthand at times. So I think he's going to be a big factor to miss, but more importantly, the way he dealt with the ref, I think, will be a big factor. So I thought he had great control, a great relation, great rapport, and that's a big factor in Test matches. So whoever's stepping into that position needs to follow his lead.
Yeah, huge presence, and that Mo obviously helps with that.
Oh, mate, he has a huge presence.
Another guy that had a massive presence on the field last week, and Nemani Ndolo alluded to him, was Johnny Dyer. This guy probably had the game of his life against the team that he's probably idolised his whole life. And that story about his parents climbing up a mountain to go watch him, they would have been extremely proud, and that walk would have been all worth it for the performance this guy put out, Jim.
Absolutely, and I think that probably explains why we saw that performance. And everyone's spoken about the physicality of the breakdown. Well, it's actually Johnny Dyer at the breakdown. Out of the 9 turnovers, he got 5 himself. He was outstanding. Out of his 80 minutes, he had 8 carries, 9 tackles. So he was just a man possessed. He just delivered time and time again for that jersey. And I think, seeing him back in that 6th jersey, going up against a good friend of mine in Akira Ioane this weekend, I'm looking forward to seeing those big men go head-to-head this week.
That's why we love having you on the show. Those little bit of analytical gold, mate. Those stats, brilliant. But Niall, in all honesty, how good is it seeing this Fijian side, the development of this Fijian side and the growth in them, that we can see these guys coming out of Europe and playing at this top level and seeing some, well, I guess that they can match it with the best. We need to see more of this, don't we?
I think, like, if you're watching the game and a team's come together and they're performing like that for 60, 70 minutes against the best team in the world, All Blacks, it's special, and it just makes you wonder if they get more consistency as a team, whether it be next year in the Super Rugby competition, how amazing they can actually be. Imagine them mixed with, Fiji, Jura together, consistently playing against the best in the world. They're only going to get better, and I feel like that's a very scary thought for New Zealand rugby in general.
Yeah, it is.
But it's great for competition. It's great for the growth of rugby in general too.
It is. And I know, scrolling through Twitter post-game and during the game, that all the fans on my Twitter feed were just talking about, we need to see more of this Fijian scene. We need to see more of them. And it's just brilliant. And hopefully we can find a solution where the Drua are involved, and also seeing more of this Fijian side. Another competition that's back this weekend, Taylor, and you are involved in it, is the Farah Palmer Cup. Now, you've made your way north from the dominant Canterbury side.
Good on you.
She saw the light.
The blue and white hoops. You and your sister. Are you guys going to be the difference for this Auckland side to wrestle that Farah Palmer Cup away from this dominant Canterbury team?
I honestly, that's too much pressure. 100%. Haven't had to sit down of any look-ins or whatever that Canterbury have up their sleeve, but I'm really excited to be a part of the Auckland environment and a part of this team. Like, they have always been a big team to go up against, and because they've got such a strong forward pack. So I'm really excited to be a part of that, and hopefully we get good front foot ball so we can have a go.
You can raise it up. And you guys are playing Bay of Plenty this weekend. We can't expect to see you lacing them up for Bay of Plenty.
Blue and white hoops.
Oh, you're blue and white hoops. But you live in a box.
I know, but that's for 7s. But 15s, I'll be definitely coming back.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
So are you going to get the job done this weekend?
Well, yes, I do believe that Auckland do have a good chance against Bay of Plenty. They do play 2 different styles. Auckland's up front and Bay of Plenty is like free-flowing ball. So it depends what ends up on top, really. Winner of the game.
Exactly. And your sister's going to be lacing them up for Auckland as well, I understand.
Yeah, most definitely.
And so where do we need to watch out for her?
Where you can watch her out on the wing.
All right, team, we've got to go. We're taking a break for 3 weeks. Taylor, great work, everybody. All the best to our New Zealand Olympians over in Tokyo.
Go the Blackford Sevens.
See you in 3 weeks.
Ali just crashing forward. Ali's so strong. What a start for Waikato. Oh, Liv McGovern.
We have a winning culture, which is really good to be a part of. It's going to show on the field.
Pulls up and keep cracking.
Can't wait for next season.
Thank you so much for the support all season, guys. This one's for you.
Wowee! Me on my yes girls. I like that one.